So with our handsome Mr. K, ready, Kugel, come. Nice job. So we were just doing a little bit of play. He really likes the flirt pole as well. So I wanted him to have a little bit of play time before we went working into some of our skills. So for the handsome guy, in a few moments, I want to work a little bit with some loose leash walking, but then also work a bit with our front and then sort of bring the babe into a side or finish position. Some people do call it back to heel if it's on the left side. Again, it's whatever makes sense to you guys. So I normally just have like with me or let's go be like my loose leash walking skill or like the name for it. And then I tend to have, for my guy, it's finish to go back to my side. But again, it's whatever makes sense for the home front. So for Mr. Handsome, we're just going to warm up. Again, I was just doing some find its with some reorientation back to my bubble. But then I want to start warming up a little bit next to him, working a little bit of that loose leash walking. I do find what can be nice is sometimes practice, is on both equipment and off of gear. So I know I've mentioned this a little bit in the past too, where if your babe has a hard time honing in on you and sort of being soft, it can be nice to work the how-to without the leash. So it's one less thing for you to think about as well. If, though, again, his loose leash walking is going wonderfully, keep rocking it. But what I would highly recommend is start to practice a little bit of this engagement into your bubble. So right there from being on my side, we went into a front position. So again, I might lure him again front and then feed for that. If your babe doesn't rock a beautiful sit like he is, don't worry. So again, front, nice. So the main goal to front is getting your boy to be able to go from, let's say, being in front of you or next to you. Let's say he gets too far ahead, you could bring him into a front and then reorient him back into your back into your space to regain his focus. Sorry, with my allergies, my throat gets tickly a little bit, so I'm just going to grab a cough drop real quick. Of course, blabbing also helps. So I promise I'm not eating dog treats. It's a cough drop. So right there, my little positive interrupter, regain Mr. Handsome, Mr. K's his attention back on me. So let's say again, your babe is walking next to you. You could bring them into the front, set them up right here. So now let's say you've got your gorgeous guy in a front position. You could be getting some of the eyes on you and work a look behavior. You could be working again, maybe some touches, which a touch is a target. So again, targeting my hand, yes. In the beginning, you might, for touch, load your hand so the puppy targets the hand with the food in it. As he gets comfortable, hand would be empty, touch, and we'd feed for that. So, but again, hand touches could be another fun thing. But back to the front to the side position, you would just lure your babe back onto the side of your body. So you could continue, oh my goodness, chewing. So you could continue on your merry way doing some more of that loose leash walking practice. So right here, if he's doing a great job by my side, don't forget to feed for the good while they're in the right bubble or in the right behavior that you'd like to have happen again. Those little heart-shaped snacks he has, he sometimes doesn't do so well with them. I think panting and chewing is just optional. It's hard to do together. So right here, we're feeding for all this lovely by my side. If I lose him, I just use my little positive interrupter. So again, from here next to me, I might go into a front and bring the puppy in front of my body. And then you could always regain focus, see if there's a distraction that needs to pass by, or just gain some fun out of doing a few different skills with your babe next to you. So if he's a little bit of a wiggly worm and he does a little bit of a kitty corner, not the end of the world. The main goal is he's going from being in your front position or in front of you. Ready? Front. He's like, that's very exciting. If he does some jumping, make sure to just feed all on the floor. He's just a little excited. It's his turn. So again, I'm going to lure him and send him again back to the side of my leg. Good job. And then right here, we're just going to keep moving. So let's say he's been doing a real nice job. I'll give him a little breather by doing some nice little find-its. The other thing is I don't think he has trouble too bad with the loose leash walking. But I know at times, pups can get a little eager when they're going somewhere new or fun. So I would also recommend to sometimes work on like what's called leash pressure. So leash pressure is another great thing. So when Mr. Handsome feels pressure into, let's say, his longer training leash or even in his regular 6-foot leash, when he feels that, what you're trying to hopefully get from him is that when he feels the connection, it means to check back in. So very nice. So it's not a correction or he's in trouble or he's doing something that we don't love. View it as, again, If, let's say, he pulls into gear and he tends to pull at times kind of heavy, we want him to think that pulling, again, equals check-in, not pulling equals blow through equipment. So I'm just going to grab his leash for a second, and I want to practice a little bit with the handsome guy, doing a little bit on his leash for a few moments. Good job, sir. So let's say your babe has been doing a really nice job with loose leash walking, but every once in a while when they see a distraction, they get overwhelmed, there's pressure on the equipment. The problem there is then for a lot of the babes, remember that pulling tends to equal more pulling. So if your babes are allowed to keep hauling, and pulling gets you further into the environment, gets you to go into the fun place, whatever it might be, or gets you to another new place to go sniff, pulling then has been very reinforcing from your pup's perspective. So maybe we should keep rocking it. So what I like to do is with my pup already in front of me, collect up your leash to a section where your babe could, like, let's say, for example, feel the gear. This shouldn't be overwhelming, scary, or where it gets them flustered. It's not a leash pop or a correction because I don't really like those at all. So from here, I would go a little pull and then I feed. So what I'm doing is I start off with the puppy in front of me. Oh my goodness, chewing. Ready? We'll get a little sit from him just for a second. So then I go pull of the gear and I feed for that. So what he's feeling is almost like the tap on the shoulder saying, excuse me, sir, come check in. Let's do this. And then he's like, all right. So again, the benefit of doing a little bit with the puppy in front of you and then doing the leash pressure is you can then have him practice while he's nearby that when he feels the connection on the equipment, it means to come check in. So right now we're just getting some excitement. He's like, lady, I'm so pumped. That's finally my turn. So again, right here, I'm going to feed for all four on the floor. So don't worry if sometimes you get some eager beaver moments. The main goal is just to keep feeding for the behavior or skill you'd prefer or redirect to a skill your babe could do instead. So if let's say he's getting a little bit jumpy, we might try for a little sit, feed for all four on the floor again, and then do another little find it. So with leash pressure, what you're looking for your babe to do is when they all of a sudden go and pull ahead, or let's say they get distracted and they start applying some pressure in a certain direction, when they get to the end of the leash, they should feel the pressure and then automatically come to do a little check-in because it's been so good for them to do so. So we're building up that when there's pressure, it means to come visit for a paycheck, not to blow through it, or that, again, we're trying to overwhelm them. So right here, he's doing a real nice job with his loose leash walking, though, I will have to say. He's a little eager for his food sometimes, which is normal. He's doing a real nice job. Good boy. So we'll give him a little breather from the leash. So you'll see that I sometimes like to do a little bit of both. So he'll sometimes start off on equipment, other times not. And the reason behind that is sometimes we as people, there's a few different steps going on. So there's figuring out where to place your food, where to have your body, where to be holding the leash, and where is the dog. So a lot of times it can seem a little daunting to be thinking about the leash and the dog and the gear the whole time. So I find it can be really nice to sometimes just work with the dog, sometimes off of gear in a safe bubble, like your yard, if it's fenced in, or you find it's, a safe enough bubble to do so, or of course, in and around the home inside. So ready? So with Mr. K, I'd say working a little bit with some fronts and some finish, just to throw in a few fun things to do throughout your walk, can be a great way to gain engagement when the environment can sometimes be more fun than us at times. But it does kind of keep him a little bit more active and more interested. Nice, good job. Ready? Front. And obviously right now I'm just feeding for moving into my space. Remember that a lot of these behaviors can build. So this could turn into, again, let's say he's having a bit of a harder time, find it. You can also work some of these lovely fronts when needed in an emergency situation. So I know I had been doing a few of these fronts previously with a few other babes, and some of them are more sensitive than others, and that's fine. But the benefit of having a few different dance moves for your beauties is that it allows you to rotate through different skill sets, and some might be easier to attain depending on your puppy's comfort range. That was much better. So because if your babe is having a harder day, going right into a stationary position could be too difficult. So that's where movement can be more attainable for the babe at that starting point. Nice job, Mr. K. But we'll give Mr. K a little breather from some of the loose leash walking and practice. We'll try a few other things. I want to see if we can work a little bit with our take its and drop its with some of our toy play. And we'll see how he's doing. Good job, Mr. K.